Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode. We got a lot of news to bring you. Very impactful. Yesterday was a little light. Ryan and I played around with Dogecoin for pretty much the whole segment. But today, there's some really positive news coming out, as well as some, impactful news from a regulatory standpoint, which you're going to want to pay attention to for sure. Before we get into anything, just want to let everybody know that everything we speak about, discuss, and vocalize, advise, well, we don't advise or show you is not financial advice. And we're purely here just to educate you guys. But real quickly, just taking a look at the markets, it's a mixed bag. It's nothing bad, nothing tremendously good. But we're still positive and bullish. There was a chance of going into a retracement earlier in the week that we were talking about, but it seems like everything is honing out pretty fine. Ryan, how are you today?
Never better, Alex. We're almost there. It's Thursday. Thank God it's Thursday, right? Almost Friday.
I think like Weekend Eve. Weekend Eve.
I like that. I was really happy to see some of the support we have because it did look like you were saying like there was going to be a retracement, but ETH having that rebound and that support at 2,900 level, it just shows the resilience that we've talked about over the past couple of weeks in the market. Sentiment did take a nosedive when the first story we're going to talk about came out today, and it doesn't look like sentiment really has rebounded, but price has. So I think that's a really good sign given the news that the Wall Street Journal broke early this morning.
Yeah, I mean, let's just dive right into it. This is big news, Ryan.
It's huge news. So up to this point, many people in the DeFi space thought that being decentralized and not having a central point of access or location or failure or whatever benefits that they say they have kept them from being regulated. Well, Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC here in the U.S., thinks otherwise, right? So, and he in the interview this morning with the Wall Street Journal that was published this morning, some of the key comments that were in that are included in this report in the block. One of them is there's still a core group of folks that are not only writing the software, like open source software, but they often have governance and fees, and there's an incentive structure for promoters and sponsors in the middle of this. Calling it DeFi is a bit of a misnomer because these platforms facilitate something that might be decentralized in some aspects, but highly centralized in others. So platforms like, Uniswap or SushiSwap or they've all thought to this point, and rightly so, I guess, based on the lack of guidance from regulators, that they wouldn't be regulated. That doesn't appear to be the case, and I can see why ETH may have taken a temporary price dip in a knee-jerk reaction to this. But what do you make of all this, the reaction in the markets? And we talk to a lot of these DeFi platforms on a day-to-day basis. Have you heard anything from them, and what's their mood like?
It's been surprising. I haven't heard anything from them, particularly, the topic. Everybody's worried about regulation in general, right, Ryan? So it's a wait and see approach. It's also a long game. I mean, it's like a boat, turning around. It's going to take a little bit of time and hopefully take a lot of input from players in the game, like what happened when everybody got revved up with the infrastructure bill that was going to affect crypto. So, this isn't happening tomorrow. I think there's still a lot of time left to either convince, the regulators otherwise, or at least have some input and guidance into modifying it.
Absolutely. Regulation is a good thing. If people want the money from institutions to come into the space, which they keep talking about, when Bitcoin moon, when this DeFi project or that project moon, that isn't going to happen until the institutions get in. And the only way for them to get in is regulatory certainty. They need to be sure that they're acting as good stewards of the capital that they're overseeing and managing, and also that they're not breaking any rules, because it's better to be cautious and ask for permission first in this arena than to break something and ask for forgiveness later. You never want to be in that position, ever. Those Wells notices they're not something you want to get at all.
And I think also some of the big players on the traditional side who are dipping their toe into this are going to have a problem at first, and they might give their own guidance or opinions because they don't want to miss out. right? And so
Mhm.
even if it becomes regulated, there's going to be other players in the world who are just regular folks who are still going to be doing this, outside the U.S., and they're still going to be making tons of money, but it's going to be affecting the market. So the big banks and the big players on the traditional side don't want to miss the boat. I think they're going to, kind of help move this process along, if anything.
That makes sense, at least to me. Yeah.
And speaking of which,
Yeah. So Coinbase has teamed up with Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group, one of the 10 largest banks in the world, which makes it one of the largest, I think the largest in Japan, to open up a crypto exchange in Japan, which that really kind of came out of nowhere. They haven't talked a lot about Japan, and it's literally only 3 weeks after Japan's FSA, the Financial Services Authority, issued yet another warning to Binance for operating in the country without any licenses. So I guess partnering with Mitsubishi UFJ helped Coinbase obtain the licenses necessary because they're a broker dealer. They have pretty much all the licenses you would need, being a nationally chartered bank there. This is a great development for crypto traders in Japan, given that the liquid exchange was just hacked and they lost that. It feels like this would be a much more reliable option for them, Alex. What do you think?
yeah, absolutely. I've dealt with some of those crypto exchanges in Japan that hold those licenses. Those licenses are given few and far between. So there's a small bucket that the FSA has under the regulation. For this to happen, I think is, like you said, Ryan, is a major coup, especially with two brands such as Coinbase and MUFJ. MUFJ is a powerhouse in the international banking scene. Obviously, we know Coinbase is an 800-pound gorilla, or should I say $800 billion gorilla after, whatever. But no, I think this is a big deal. And I think aside from how Coinbase has been affected by regulation to operate in the U.S., particularly in New York, Ryan, if you're in Puerto Rico, your Coinbase looks different than your buddy in New York. And that's just a fact.
It's funny you mentioned that, right? Because in Japan, they're only initially going to support 5 cryptocurrencies: Bitcoin, ETH, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Stellar. So it's going to look very similar to the Coinbase access that you have in New York, right? Yeah. And they'll eventually roll out more assets and products in the future, according to this article in Decrypt. But just to give you an idea of the size of Mitsubishi UFJ, if you're not familiar with them, they have 40 million customers in Japan alone. That's like 1/3 the country's population uses one bank. There isn't a monopoly like that here in the U.S. It doesn't exist. It's truly remarkable that they're able to turn around, launch a crypto exchange in partnership with Coinbase. And I can't wait to see what adoption is like, and also what the effect it has on Coinbase's bottom line, because I think this is going to be a real powerhouse move for them, like you were saying.
I think this is going to, listen, I'm going to be paying attention to Coinbase's ticker on their equity stock as this goes through the next couple quarters, because what you just said is going to be huge. You have MUFJ, one of the largest banks in Japan, and you have that captive audience. So, they're going to be able to affiliate themselves with the Coinbase brand exchange in there that they're partnering up with. And it's going to drive a lot of business to Coinbase. I'm going to be curious to see what Coinbase's revenue earnings look like end of Q1 of 2022. I think what you said, Brian Armstrong, is just going to get bigger and bigger with this.
I mean, think about it, right? If you're in Japan, and that's a somewhat conservative country, having lived there myself, I have a lot of experience not only with the people there, but the financial system there. And if you have a choice between Bitflyer, Bitbank, Coincheck, or Liquid, which was just hacked, or you can use MUFG's fiat on-ramp and off-ramps, and you can access that exchange similar to how you'd access a Merrill Lynch account in your Bank of America app on your phone. What are you going to do? Right? Really, honestly, what are you going to do? You're going to take something that's trusted, regulated, publicly traded, or are you going to go with something else that's got a somewhat sketchy name or has been hacked? I know what I would do.
They're sitting right below this article. This list came out just 3 days ago. I tweeted about it. They're sitting right below Goldman Sachs at number 9 for the top, banks that have invested in blockchain crypto companies. 185 million across 6 investments. I guess this is going to be investment number 7 because it's going to be bifurcated from Coinbase US and be a Japanese entity. But this is massive. So,
wait, that's interesting. I hate that word interesting. That's bizarre, actually. They also invested in Bitflyer.
Yep.
So I wonder how the people over at Bitflyer are feeling right now.
You know what's interesting? I'm saying this completely knowledgeable-less.
Knowledgeless?
That's an Alexism.
Alexism, yes.
I believe Bitflyer was either bought or currently being acquired by another crypto exchange. I also don't know if it's public, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But
yeah, I'm not seeing anything like that. They just granted access to Europeans about a year ago, though, so there's that.
Bitflyer's been around for a long time.
They sure have. They absolutely have. If I had to choose between Bitflyer or Coinbase, backed by a major bank, the largest bank in Japan, though, if I'm new to crypto, this is how you get the rest of the population into crypto in Japan. This is how you do it. You get them partnered with MUFG, and you open up an exchange that way. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Agreed. And Japanese love their cryptocurrency and have been waiting for more and more options to hit the market. So that is a beautiful segue into this.
It is. So global crypto adoption, according to Chainalysis, has jumped 880%. That's an absolutely remarkable number. That's year on year. And if you look at that heat map, the darker the shade of orange or red is, the more percentage of population is using crypto. And believe it or not, Vietnam is the #1 ranked country on this list, followed by India, where I thought crypto was outlawed, and Pakistan, which is right next door. The US is all the way down at number 8, and then countries like Venezuela is just above it. And then you have a lot of other countries where you have economic and political instability, like Argentina, Colombia, Brazil, the Russian Federation, Tanzania, I guess, I don't know, and Afghanistan. I'm surprised to see Afghanistan in the top 20 initially, but if you think about it, perhaps a number of people started realizing that the country was going to collapse once the US pulled out, and they started hoarding away at least some of their money into Bitcoin or elsewhere just to protect the value of it. It makes sense to me, Alex. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it does. First of all, I see Afghanistan number 20, considering what's going on right now. That is a little bit surprising to me just from internet, provider point of view. I don't know what the infrastructure is going to be like moving forward. Also to see, India, Pakistan, as you said, India is a flip-flop nation when it comes to crypto, right? So one day it's banned, one day it's not. Who actually knows what's happening today with it? It could be different than tomorrow. But a lot of these countries, if you take a look at them, have depressed economies. Volatile, depressed economies. And you take a look at countries like Venezuela. We all know what's transpired there over the last 3 years. And it was a flight of capital. That's basically what it was to, kind of maintain some sort of value to it when people started exiting Venezuela's, own capital base into crypto. Same with Nigeria, same with Kenya, another 2 countries. Plus, it's also it's much easier to facilitate payments. Kenya, Nigeria, unbanked nations of Africa. And then, hey, high five to anybody who knows where the country of Togo is.
It's somewhere in West Africa. I think it's near Ghana. But if you're thinking about Kenya and Nigeria and Togo and Ghana, those are countries where a lot of people bank with their phones through text messages. So that's probably why Togo, Kenya, Nigeria, and Tanzania are all in the top 6 in terms of P2P exchange trading volume, because they're just doing P2P trades, sending money to and from each other, paying for goods and services. The guys who run Yellowcard, a crypto exchange and P2P trading platform based in Nigeria, I know them well. I've spoken to them a handful of times. And they were telling me that they were very surprised at the level of crypto adoption in that part of the world when they first got there. And then they saw the opportunity to build a best-in-class service and a system that would better help them and assist them, especially the unbanked and the underbanked. And it just, after having those conversations with those guys, it makes perfect sense to me. Afghanistan being number 7 on the P2P exchange trade volume, though, that, it's not as surprising to me as it might be if they were on like a regular exchange or if it was on-chain retail value being in the top 10, right? Because if people in Afghanistan don't trust their own money, I think it's dinars, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. If they don't trust their own money, they're going to be sending Bitcoin back and forth to each other or stable coins or something that they can get through however they get it, however they got it before the Taliban took over. And I'm honestly not surprised. I'm really not. Not the P2P exchange trade volume. It makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, good friend of mine, Ray at Paxful, their largest growth area for their P2P exchange is the African continent, and that's what they're concentrating on. Those people are unbanked, and for folks, listen, we live, a lot of us live in very developed countries. We're very spoiled by what we can do as far as opening up a bank account, getting credit cards. Doing all that stuff. These folks aren't. And so when you go to these P2P platforms, people are buying Bitcoin with, Amazon cards. They're buying it with, Beefsteak Charlie gift cards. Anything of value is listed for sale. You can literally buy crypto with things that are not fiat. And so that's what makes it really compelling for these folks.
Absolutely. It's all about not having those fiat on-ramps, right? So there's no fiat on-ramp in Afghanistan that we are aware of. There aren't really any notable ones in Nigeria or Kenya either, based on conversations I had with the yellow card guys. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. If you could sell a Starbucks gift card or a TGI Fridays gift card, which they do have those over there, for Bitcoin, I can see that being a compelling value proposition.
They have TGIFs in Africa?
Yeah, of course they do.
Well,
Maybe not in the biggest city, but they still have them, yeah.
Well, I guess it's Friday everywhere in the world at some point, so everybody needs to, be thankful.
Okay. They have that. They have Domino's. Domino's is everywhere as well.
Oh, I love Domino's.
Everywhere. Don't get Pizza Hut in Japan. They put corn and mayonnaise on the pizza. It's disgusting.
Oof.
It's like a crosshatch pattern. The mayonnaise is all over it. It's horrible.
One last note on that: if you ever get by a Marco's pizza, which I was only introduced to, they put crack in the crust. It is the best tasting, I quote unquote fast food pizza. Right? There's 2 segments here. We got fast food pizza, and we got real pizza that you get from your local Italian eatery. But Marco's puts the crack in the crust. It is tasty. Try it if you haven't.
Okay.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us for today's news. Definitely a lot of stuff going on. Once again, happy Thursday. And don't forget, we still have the Trade the Chain referral contest for the V.I.P. NASCAR experience in Las Vegas the end of next month. Details are down in the description, so take a look at that. It's free to enter, and you don't even have to be a Trade the Chain member, although we'd always love to have you. So take a look at that. Definitely, this is fantastic. I'm excited to see this adoption stuff, Ryan. So thanks for bringing this up, man.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Thanks for letting me ramble about it.
Always. All right, folks, take it easy. Have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Bye.